Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us today. And this is our first coffee chat with myself and a mystery guest, and that guest is Paul Kanan,
Hi,
coming
Traverse
to
City.
you live from New York City. So, Paul, how you doing in New York City?
I'm good. Considering been pent up in a little apartment and making food and exercising and all the things and watching all the things and doing what we can to stay positive. How's Traverse
And you're,
City?
it's a rainy day, but flowers need rain, so we take it. But it's gorgeous up here, as you well know. One of your favorite spots, isn't it?
It's my favorite. I'm very jealous. I've attempted just hop in a car and drive out and sit at the water.
And you're going to be coming here soon, aren't you?
Very
Yeah.
excited. Something to look forward to.
Well, a little bit about how Paul and I met. We've known each other now going on 13 years or maybe a little longer.
Yeah.
As general manager at Wharton Center back in 2007, he and Laura Bell Bundy from Legally Blonde were brought in to do a donor event. And then the following year, Paul and Laura Bell both came back and started Take It From the Top, which is a summer Broadway camp. And in 2010, when Wharton Center signed the management agreement with the Opera House, I came to the Opera House, and by 2012, we started doing it in Traverse City. And
Yeah.
it's been going well every year. So, Paul, I'm going to let you talk about your credits because you have a lot of them, and I don't want to miss any. So, you talk about them.
It all started in show choir in high school when I choreographed. No, I was a Broadway person. I was in Miss Saigon in 2000. Terrified little college kid on Broadway. And then I went into, you want like all my Broadway credits?
Breeze through them.
Miss Saigon. See, quarantine gets to your mind and you don't remember anything. I was in Miss Saigon, I think. Thoroughly Modern Millie, La Cage, Legally Blonde, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Radio City, did some film stuff. I did like Across the Universe, Sex and the City 2, and then Kinky Boots most recently. And then in the middle of all that, I started Take It From the Top, that I've been running now for 12, 13 years. And I run a new company called The Original Production with Jerry Mitchell.
So tell us why Take It From the Top pulls at your heartstrings.
I just think that, right now especially, the children are literally the future, and there's a whole new generation of voices and expression and creation, and I think nurturing young talent can oftentimes be underestimated, and the arts can be underestimated, but that's truly where so much beauty and perspective comes in difficult times. And I was a kid that just loved to perform, and I never really knew anyone that could kind of hold my hand and show me the ropes and show me how to do a headshot and a resume and audition and what went into all these things that I loved so much. So I love giving kids a really fun experience, but I also, we're here for career development advice. We bring agents, we bring choreographers, directors. Last summer in Traverse City, we brought Conor Gallagher, who's the choreographer of Beetlejuice on Broadway, and he brought this kind of cool perspective to Frozen that our advanced kids did. So every year is different, and our students change and grow, and that's one of my favorite things too, is seeing these students grow up, and now they're adults and they're auditioning and they live in New York, and I see them, and it's just so fulfilling. I get older, but I feel kind of the same. They're just growing up and getting married, having kids, and here we all are. But I think
one of the things we share is our passion for arts education for kids.
Yeah.
And I know that's what connected me with you, that your belief, your passion, you just wear it on your shirt sleeve. It's just always there, first and foremost, and can't thank you enough for that.
Thanks.
So what's it like working on Broadway?
Depends on the show. Kinky Boots was a little painful because the heels were so damn high. But it's, I mean, I did it for 15 years. I did 8 shows a week. So there's the fun parts when the audience stands up at the end and claps for you for your job. Most jobs don't get applause at the end of their day. And there's the rough parts where you don't feel so great and you don't want to do a backflip in 5-inch heels or run around and change costumes and dance. And, 8 shows a week. Tourists, I think, come to New York and see a show for the first time and it's all exciting. But we've been there doing it usually for a couple of years, day after day, same thing. So there's the grind work part of it because it's a job at the end of the day, but there's the fulfilling when the audience enjoys what you're seeing and you can touch lives, especially with a show like Kinky Boots. And I thought Legally Blonde had such a great message. Karen Hertel.
Yeah. Thanks, Karen.
Her daughter, Maddie, was a wonderful star student of Take It From the Top. She's in college now. Chris Denos.
Hi, Chris.
I mean, talk about a community that has embraced culture and the arts and us. I mean, I have more friends in Traverse City, a city that I had never been to before. I grew up in San Francisco. I've lived in New York for 20 years. I'm 74 years old.
You look good.
I always tell the kids that because they never know how old I am. I'm like, I may be older than your dad. They're like, what? No, I tell everybody, somehow it comes into conversation all the time how much I love Traverse City. They're like, where is that? It's up here. So it's on a hand. It's on a hand somewhere.
Then you bring them here and they want to come back every year.
Every year. It's my number one request. When are you going to Traverse City? We'll see who I pick.
What are some of your favorite memories and people you adore from shows? Well, it was Cyndi Lauper's birthday yesterday. Yes, it was.
I thought of her. I don't know. I guess I got so close to Jerry Mitchell, who's a director, choreographer. He was the director of Legally Blonde and Kinky Boots and choreographer of Hairspray. And we connected on a creative level. Like part of my favorite thing about putting up a new show is being in the rehearsal room when choices are being made and we're kind of forming the shapes of what the show is going to look like. And I've just admired him for so many years as kind of my mentor. And now we're good friends and we run a business together and I get to see him continue to be successful. And I'm trying to be behind the table and not so much on stage performing anymore, which is great. And just the friends, especially in this quarantine time, the Zooms. I mean, I wish I had more recordings of a Broadway show of a Zoom. Everyone just wants to talk at the same time. It's a bunch of actors and performers. They're like, well, I did this and I did this and I made bread. Great. Everyone's talking at the same time.
So you mentioned Jerry Mitchell. I know he factors into the arts education programs. And why don't we talk a little bit more about Take It From the Top this year in Traverse City?
Victoria Coro. Yeah, so this year we are figuring it out and we're trying to meld what we're doing with other programs. And obviously there's a lot of virtual teaching. And I will say the cool thing about virtual teaching is that there's so much more outreach. You can reach so many people and we can get honestly bigger names. Jerry Mitchell normally would not have time to do a talk back with our students, but because of the situation, he can get on a screen and talk to all of our students for 30 minutes. And he's a man with such a legendary career that I think anyone that's interested in musical theater would so benefit from listening to him talk. So we're doing this summer at Traverse City, me and Jacob, our music director, are coming out because I want to be in Traverse City. It's mid-August, and we're going to take precautions. We're going to do some virtual, according to what we're doing a 2-week program at the Wharton Center. And this is after that. And then live, we're going to figure it out. We're going to do some live coaching. We're going to keep more than 6 feet apart. We're going to try to learn choreography and dance and acting stuff with kind of some of the restrictions, but we're still going to try to make it fun and educational and informative, and we'll see how it goes. At the end of the day, we're all going to spend time together.
Kids have an opportunity to pick an area of interest.
Yes. And this is the thing I love about this summer, and I want to keep doing this every summer. So we're doing a creative course where you can pick a class in choreography, playwriting, or songwriting, because I think, and each teacher is kind of an expert in that field, and they'll walk you through, give you tools for how to write, how to express yourself. I think along the lines of how we started this with a new generation coming up, I think a lot of times young people are told what to do. Here's the dance step, here's the script, here's all the stuff. I think we need to listen to young people and give them tools of like, how can you express yourself through music, through dance, through the written word, through creative writing. I think we need to support their voices and have them be heard, because they're the future writers, they're the future producers, they're the future choreographers. And I think in the past, sometimes I've just told people what to do, and this is choreography from Legally Blonde, but I want to take music and say, what would you do with this music? What do you think about all this? Because they're the leaders of the future, so we need to prepare them, especially in the arts.
In East Lansing, you teach a technical program too, don't you?
Yeah, we have a tech track. That's
which
amazing.
Gives students a broader view of what it takes to put on productions and shows them the different career opportunities.
Yeah.
And something we'd like to get into up here fairly soon if we can.
Yeah, it started, I want to say 8 years ago. A little boy came into the program and he did it, but he was like, I'm not really interested in being on stage. I'd rather learn what those lights are like and what that soundboard's like. So I grabbed the tech director down at the Wharton Center, and she took him around and up into the scaffolding and showed him how the lights worked and the sound worked and all that stuff. And from that, I was like, maybe there's a lot of kids that are interested in all the other jobs that go into getting on stage. It's not just about being on stage. So last year we had about 8 or 9, I think, and they designed sets for, they did model sets and a lot of conceptual stuff for the advanced shows we were doing, but they helped run sound, helped run lighting, and they really learned what goes behind the scenes of theater, which I thought was really cool, because performing's not for everybody, but the arts there's some place in the arts for everybody. You don't have to be on stage. You can be an audience member. You can play the piano. You can light the lights. You can build the set. So it's an all-play sport, I think.
I would agree. Having been somebody that's kind of grown up in the background of the arts, and not wanting to be on stage, there's a lot of other opportunities out there that correlate to that for career track, which is
completely
nice. Yeah.
Well, someone like you too, in your career through Wharton Center at the Opera House, you kind of decide what the community is going to be watching and seeing, and what you bring to the community is so important. You do the contracts, you decide what's going to work, you listen to your audience. Like, that's very important in all over the state of Michigan and every state.
Yeah, as the executive director, you can't just book what you like to see.
Exactly.
You've got to do some diversity planning. You've got to do a lot of different things. So
yeah,
that's my role here.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Everything day to day. So this has been tough here too. It's been tough on everybody. And going forward, I think it's going to take a little give and take from everybody to make it come back on track. All the artists, the musicians, everybody's got to give a little. To make it work back out. So this year's program I'm excited about, because I think there's more teachers, more faculty this year than what we would normally physically bring to town. More opportunities for the students, and we are just going to be getting that information up soon on our website. This all just changed in the last couple of weeks when we realized that even with socially distanced capacity, we're up to maybe 150 people in the audience for things. So the live showcase won't happen this year. It will after the end of the camp. Paul will take all the video and things back and coordinate it into a show and then share that with all the participants, and we'll share it on our YouTube channel as well, or get it out there to the public so that they can see all of this. And the kids will have it, which is nice.
Yeah. There will be we're moving kind of from performance to production as far as the showcase goes, but I think there still will be a lot of in-depth education to take advantage of this summer. We've been doing a lot of one-on-one coaching virtually, and it feels really limiting because the arts is kind of a contact sport, like you have to be in the room with people, but I've been amazed to see how far some of our students have come by just learn this song and let's do it next time. Let's make other choices. Like, you really can learn a lot and you can do more of it. We can create programming throughout the year and coach students and talk to them and stuff. That's what I love, this bridge we're building. And it happens in a lot of different ways. It's happening on computers now. And, you know, and the other thing, I think artists will come roaring out of this beautifully. I think they will, they have so many stories to tell and so much to express about this time with so many things going on right now. That's what we do as artists. We take a look at what's going on and like express it artistically.
Just the quality of the people who are participating virtually and doing things on their own, the young talent that's out there that's showing up on YouTube and all these different places. It's just amazing at where this has gone.
Yeah.
Just in a short amount of time.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too. Someone was saying, well, so the students are going to like film themselves doing these numbers and stuff, and we're going to bring it all together. So production is in the hands of like 12-year-old kids. I was like, I'd rather production be in the hands of 12-year-old kids than my parents that can't turn on their phones or make Zoom work. I'm like, Mom, you're on mute. Mom.
Unmute your phone.
Unmute your phone. The kids know what's going on. That's for sure.
Tell us a little bit about what a typical audition is like.
You know, it's all terrifying. Well, it's interesting now because I've been running a lot of auditions in New York for like Legally Blonde and Kinky Boots. I started kind of being behind the table, and it was interesting. But the number one question I get always is, how do I stand out? There's so many performers that want to be in musical theater. And I think there's been a growth in the last couple of years in the last like decade, because movie musicals came back with Rob Marshall Chicago and Into the Woods and all this stuff. So I think young people are seeing it more in the media, and shows like Glee and Smash and stuff now. There's more musical theater, I feel like, than when I was a kid watching Grease on a loop. So so my point with that is that a lot of people want to do this. They want to go into this. So as that relates to an audition setting, you show up with 300 Elle Woods looking people going out for the part of Elle Woods. And it's like, how do I take these, how do I separate out what's different about these people? And what I try to teach, because I've seen both sides, is really the only thing you can do, the only thing you have power over, is sharing your authentic self in the room. And it sounds cheesy, but that reads. When you come in and you bring yourself to the material and you bring your best self to the room, people notice that. It's the fear that people read and the holding back and all that stuff. And it honestly takes practice, as we know that as adults. You go in for a job interview, you go public speaking, all these things that people are so terrified of. You have to practice the muscle of authenticity, bringing yourself to what you're doing. And that's, of course, you need the skill. You need to know how to dance. You need to know how to sing. You need to know how to act. But the fourth thing in that combination is you. That's the most important thing.
Okay. We are at a point where we were going to go to some Q&A. Do we have any questions? Great. So, questions.
I'm gonna grab my water. It's very hot in New York. Look at those flowers.
Aren't they pretty? Okay, question for Paul. Memorable experience as a youth, artistic aha moment when you were young, and who were your supporters?
My teacher, Emily Gates, she was the choir teacher when I was in the 4th grade. And then she taught at like every level. She taught at the junior high, at the high school. And by the time I got into high school, I didn't really know. I'd seen a few shows in San Francisco, and I was like, whoa, I want to do that. What is that? Are those people paid? What happens? So I went back to my show choir and my choir, and I was like, can we do different stuff? Can I choreograph stuff? What shows are we doing? And I just got so involved in, I kind of took my education under my own wing in a way, because we didn't have a stage. We had a cafetorium. My dad was building sets, but Emily Gates allowed me to be me and allowed me to create. And she never held me back. She never said I couldn't to anybody, which when people would come into the program, we didn't say no to anybody. That's what's so cool about arts programs in schools, out of schools. We are, I feel like, the most open to such a diverse group of people of all walks of life. And that, I take that with me, because now that I'm making up businesses with original production and Take It From the Top and stuff, I kind of come up with what we're doing. I think a lot of people carry around doubt with them, and she was a teacher of mine that never made me doubt myself. So shout out to teachers in general in this time. I know everybody says that they should make $1 million. They should make $10 million.
They would love to hear that. Okay, next question. Beth from Beth. What is it like with Broadway being dark? How are you continuing to practice and be ready to go when it opens back up?
I mean, it's crazy. It's unprecedented. Nobody's seen this before. I think people underestimate how expensive Broadway is to keep a show and all the costumes and all the producers running. It's scary. It's scary for artists who, we don't live in New York's a very expensive town to live in. And when no one's making money and our industry is down, it's very scary and very tricky. Luckily, there's a lot of support systems, the Actors Fund, and with, we are a community that knows how to come together and support each other. But everyone I've talked to is definitely preparing for the knock on the door. I think if people are writing, people are taking dance classes at home in their garage. I think people are trying to stay in shape so they're ready for the next opportunity that comes their way. They kind of have to be. And then we get news of shows that possibly aren't opening up, and good friends that didn't get to go on in a show that they were about to star in and stuff, which is just, it just seems like there's so much bad news. But I just truly believe that the whole thing will come back stronger, and artists will bring their best when we do come back.
Okay.
Like trailing off on answers.
You are.
You just cut me off, Diane.
I'm sorry, but I've got questions. We've got questions and we want to get to as many as we can.
Oh, of course.
Catherine, what's keeping you going through all of this, and how are you collaborating with fellow artists?
That's a good question.
She's one of our board members.
I mean, we're making delicious food. We're eating healthy. We're not eating out as much. Reading. I mean, this is also kind of a brilliant time for artists, because we get to sit still, and in the stillness comes ideas and comes inspiration through stuff. We run so fast in life, and we are making meetings and then posting what we just did on social media and doing 5,000 things. I've had times where I've just sat in the park and stared at water and meditated, and I have really nothing to be at the rest of the day. And I don't get that all the time with my schedule. So I'm loving, that's getting me through, is just the still being involved in the stillness. And this virtual stuff we're doing all summer, it is not easy. It's literally twice the work. to make it all happen online. And we're learning a lot of new software and new systems and how to edit stuff, how to get the kids' audio stuff going. And we did this concert for Wharton Center, this virtual concert that I think some of you saw. That 50-minute concert took a month of every day, all day work, which was rewarding because it was collaborating with fellow artists and seeing what they think and how they're doing right now. And they sang a song in their living room, and we sang a song with our students at Wharton and got them to record and then film themselves. So it's fun to create something new like that. So we're learning a lot.
Good. Okay, Leslie, how do you think TikTok will influence the arts and live theater?
I need to get into more TikTok, and I want to this summer. But something like TikTok that's how I think young people are expressing themselves, and whatever happens, they're the future artists that are going to take over stuff. So things like Hamilton and new shows that kind of took the world by storm could be some kid that was a TikTok legend, and they who knows? I think it's good that some of these dances are so tricky, the kids are doing, that I see. I'm like, oh, you can't do my Broadway dance I'm teaching you, but you can do that crazy TikTok dance? Okay, let's go, kids. Let's combine the two and get a well-rounded thing.
Okay, Green. Yay. We miss you. How do you see arts education changing in the future as everything seems to be pivoting right now?
Yeah, good question. Good question. I mean, what I'm hoping is that a lot of this stuff will take what's valuable about what's happening right now and move forward with it. We're teaching kids in Florida, in Nantucket. We've done some coaching with kids in Michigan. So come December, throughout the year, I think it's a great way to stay in touch with people, reconnect with people. I mean, I haven't talked to my family as much as I have in these last 3 months because everybody's sitting on their computers talking, trying to have some FaceTime with people. So hopefully the good of those connections will continue, and arts education will. I'd love to do a winter program and do it online while we're in New York. Connect with our students throughout the year. That's what I think can be good from this. And then come out in the summers and have FaceTime and say hi and learn in person.
Okay, well, we're nearing our 30-minute time frame we allotted for this. And Paul, thank you. My heart, my love goes out to you and Jacob, and we're going to see you real soon here in Traverse City.
So excited.
So excited. And thank you for all that joined us today, for your questions. Wish we had a little more time to keep this going, but
I'll be back on one of these soon enough, yapping. No worries. You're saying?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. We are doing this. This is our inaugural Coffee with the Director. We'll be doing another one July 14th and another one August 18th, I think, or 16th. You'll hear about it. Our Director of Marketing is very good at getting this word out, and stay tuned for our next mystery guest. We're here and looking forward to seeing Paul on August 10th.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for all the great work you guys do to support the arts in your community. We feel like it's another home, and I'm so grateful for you guys and giving us a chance to come back, because we really love it there, and we love your students, and we love everybody there. So thank you.
It is a marvelous community. Thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Have good days.